Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. I'm Jonathan Freedman. Our next interview needs no introduction, but we will nonetheless. It's a Marc Z Moment. Marc Z, welcome as always to Radio Entrepreneurs. Marc Z Legal Staffing. You always have some interesting stuff for us. What do you got for us today?
John, great to be on the show. Happy pre-4th of July, and I hope everything continues to go well. It's great to see you and great to be on the show.
Excellent. Great to have you as well. You want to talk about this morning a little bit about technology and the need for people to be up to speed or up to date in terms of their technical skills. So tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in the marketplace. And, I think it's one of those things that's often overlooked. People ask the cursory question, do you have skills? And the answer is often yes, but I would imagine it often doesn't go much beyond that.
Right. I think that what we're talking about as we look at different trends in the employment marketplace are trends that show technology is so important to a company or a firm and an individual. And it used to be, well, we have this system that we're using. Have you done anything similar to that system? What aspect of the system? Was it the initial one, or is it the updated system? And now it's companies really want somebody that has that specific skill set. For example, we just had something that in the legal space, a billing system. One billing system that a firm uses, they really ideally want that person to have that billing system. And that could be the difference between that person getting the role versus somebody else getting that role because of the time that it takes to get up to snuff on that system. So it's not just being up to date with technology because it's just so important to make your job and the company's job more efficient and effective, but it's also as a candidate, being able to brush up and be up to date with technology that is forever changing.
That's you're raising a really interesting point, and for a moment, if I may, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate because it's very difficult to stay up to speed, and again, if you break it down to a particular niche situation, and you have for your example a particular billing software. I wonder if companies are potentially cutting people short by saying, we want somebody with that specific skill set, because in my experience, people who tend to be, and I'll use this, really loose phrase, technologically adept, can learn things. And I understand the notion of not wanting somebody to learn on my dime, but are they potentially passing up good candidates who have a lot of other skills and might not have that particular, niche experience? So how do you navigate those two worlds? Because not everybody has exposure to everything, and some jobs may be very highly specific. And so I think that, you have the potential that you cut out a lot of really good candidates because they might not have that specific experience.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, a company, organization, a firm is not going to cut out a candidate if they're lacking one skill specifically, if they have all the other skills and they've handled all the other responsibilities. What I was saying is, when you get into a role, they do need someone to have that technology skill, if that could be very helpful for the job. And it depends on the level that it's helpful for the job. The second thing is, when you get down to it, if a candidate is outstanding and the one aspect is this part of the technology, as long as they have something similar, the organization is going to obviously give that a pass. What I was saying is that a lot of times, if it gets down between two very qualified candidates, somebody that has that specific system or has that specific knowledge is going to have the edge, because companies, organizations, and firms are looking at how long is training time, when this person will be effective, who do we have to use to train the person in this system, what will their up to par start look like. And so you're right. That's what organizations and companies and firms have to balance, is the person's qualifications, the person's ability to do the job, at the same time having the skills and having the knowledge to do the job whether it is having a similar technology. So, for example, when we're doing handling a document review project for attorneys, sometimes with the new type of document review software system, e-discovery, the attorneys that are handling the assignment don't have that, but they have a similar system, and they're getting up to date and up to effectiveness on the system is a lot less because it's such a similar system, and it's a new system that the firm or the company has. So they're open to having somebody as long as they have a similar system. The longer a product has been out, though, an employer is going to be more particular in terms of making sure the candidate has that skill set. But again, it's one of several buckets that they're going to look at. And the more and more skills and experience they have for the role, the less and less the specific technology is necessary, as long as they have a similar type of technology. But it's still very key, and it's still extremely important for people to keep up to date with technology. Not only will it help them in the workplace and their job, but it will help them when they're looking at career opportunities.
No, it's fascinating because, you know, you and I often talk about the myriad of things that people have on their plates, and this is just one other that's necessary in order to make yourself a bona fide or a prospective candidate for a role.
Very, very important.
So, you know, I guess one of the how often are you finding, or you know, going back to my original question, which was sort of generic in nature, you know, once upon a time, people were putting on their resumes, you know, Word experience, or they're putting various computer skills or technical skills that they do have, specific software applications. Is that something that you're guiding your applicants to do or not to do? And by the same token, your clients that are potentially hiring, are they digging deeper into that? Are you finding that that's a larger focus today than perhaps it was?
I think it's very important to have on your resume the different specific software skills that you've worked on. You never know when, even if it's unsaid in a job description, when you have a resume that an employer looks at and says, oh, they have this specific, they have QuickBooks, or they have this system, they have Relativity, or they have Everlaw, anything that you can put on that's going to be a relevant skill for the job, even if it's not listed in the job description, it will give you some credibility and could be something that when the employer sees that, will say, we want to bring this person in. So I think that that's important. Yes, we encourage it. And we think that you can't take it for granted, even with having the Microsoft suite systems today, because Microsoft is consistently updating its systems. So absolutely. I think that whatever somebody can put on their resume that's tangible and in terms of technology is very, very important. And we've encouraged that.
Wonderful stuff. Marc Z, President of Marc Z Legal Staffing, it's always a pleasure to hear from you and have you on Radio Entrepreneurs. If people want to reach out to you, talk more about either opportunities or the recruiting marketplace in general, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Well, first of all, John, go on our wonderful Radio Entrepreneurs website, radioentrepreneurs.com. Google Marc Z, M-A-R-C, and the letter Z, and we'll come right up. MarcZlegal.com, MarcZlegal.com, and 617-338-1300.
Wonderful. Marc, as always, a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time. And we'll be right back with another segment on Radio Entrepreneurs.